Cars at Atlanta. This is going to be an exciting race and an exciting season. It'll all be broadcast right here. Now, there is a few different changes. Obviously, this is the first time BRR has been broadcast. Also, that car may look familiar, but that is not me in it. That is Jared Heasley, so a huge shout out to Jared for driving that car tonight. Really appreciate that. Speaking of Jared Heasley, as we're getting ready to start the season, he is currently in the Thursday Night Challenge Series leading the points, so let's see if we can get a hold of Mr. Heasley and say good evening to him. Jared, Doug in the booth, you got me?
I got you, Doug.
So you are currently the points leader in the Thursday Night Series. Are you going to walk out of here tonight with the points lead?
It doesn't look promising. This is a quick field. The times are way down. Well, yeah, whatever. Way down, way up, whatever you want to look at it. It's going to be an interesting race. We got a lot of speed. We'll see what happens.
So, start of the new season. What are you guys, the admins? What are you guys going to be watching for and looking at? And who do you anticipate being up front?
Same group as last year. Harley, Kyle, AJ. A few other new guys. Jason's looking faster this year. JJ's faster this year. Dave's always fast. So it's the same group of guys. So we know what we're looking at. From an admin side, it's different this year, being an admin, but mostly just clean racing. You know, just staying off other people is all we're looking for. Not doing stupid stuff.
Now I have to ask the question that, and this will probably come up just about every week, but has AJ said he's struggling here yet?
I haven't heard it, but he's also in a different Discord channel, so I'm sure he said it.
Well, he is currently second on the time charts, behind Kyle and with Harley right behind him, but...
Shocking.
Yeah, it's actually shocking that somebody's actually a little faster than AJ here. So you got any, before you go qualify, got any thing you'd like to say about the league? Anything you want to talk about right quick?
The only thing I really want to talk about is, Doug, you don't know about this yet, but I will be carrying your colors all season, not necessarily this car. I have another car being made currently that fits me a little bit more. So this is a 1 week tribute to you, essentially. Pulled some strings to get this car made and done in time for today. But yeah, just letting you know that I'm carrying the title sponsor on my car all season. Look forward to the entire year, and look forward to watching the broadcast tomorrow.
That gotta say that's really awesome. Thank you, Jared.
No problem.
All right, I will put you back with your friends, and you guys can get to qualifying here in just a minute.
All right, thanks, Doug.
All right, that was Jared Heasley. He is one of the admins. Now, we did get started a little early because we have a few minutes left to practice and 5 minutes left to qualifying. And shout out to, of course, Becky Flowers saying cheering Scotty to Hottie on. The admins for the league have changed a lot in the last few months, but we've got myself mainly for the broadcasting portion of this, but Jared Heasley, obviously David Garman, AJ Godsey, and Kevin Reed. Now, we will be talking to some guys during the during caution laps tonight, but for the first week this week, we're going to be just talking to the admins and let the, since this is kind of new to the league, they've never been broadcast before, they wanted to get a feel for it, and having the admins do it makes that a lot more possible for these guys. Do have quite a bit of driver bio information we'll be going over as well. While we're talking about Mr. Heasley, he is a printing press operator in Apollo, Pennsylvania. Favorite driver is Chase Elliott currently, and his favorite all-time driver is Dale Jr. He's been on iRacing for 2 years. His favorite sports teams are pretty much anything out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and his hobbies are slot car tracks and, like everybody else in the world, just not working. Big shout out to our other admin, David Garman. He is an active duty Coast Guard avionics electrical technician in Mobile, Alabama. His favorite all-time driver is Mark Martin. And being perfectly honest, it's hard to not like Mark Martin. He's been on iRacing for over 2 years. No favorite sports teams, but his hobbies are 1/5 scale RC dirt late models and aviation. He is a pilot and knows quite a bit about everything flying related, especially flight sims. He's been a huge help to me here lately. And let's see if we can find anything. Kevin Reed is a fabricator at Finelli Architectural Iron and Stairs. Location is in northeastern Ohio. His favorite driver is Clint Boyer for his attitude, Tony Stewart, and Chase Elliott currently. I have to say Tony Stewart and probably Boyer have a very similar attitude. Favorite all-time drivers, Dale Sr., A.J. Foyt, and Carl Edwards. Been on racing since this past April as we see Jared Heasley going out to qualify. His favorite sports team is, not surprisingly, Stewart Haas Racing. His hobbies include building things from scratch, cars, trucks, computers, houses, pretty much anything, camping in his family time. So he's doing a lot of everything he can. And we will be going over the rest of the profiles as we go through. While we're watching Jared, I was really quite surprised to see Jared in my car tonight and knowing that he's running the MS and trigeminal neuralgia paint scheme and logos for me. That really means a lot to me. And as qualifying is getting underway, as you heard Jared say earlier, the track is sped up since practice the other night. And these guys are going quite a bit faster than the lap times the other night. They are running down in the low 29s, low to mid 29s right now. And it is dropping with every person that qualifies. So this will be interesting. They are still very, very close. Now, I have to say, I have been running with this league since its inception. Great bunch of guys. Really enjoy racing with them, and have a lot of comments on a lot of these guys, and we'll definitely be talking about the guy currently sitting on the pole. That is Harley Barletta, because sadly he is a fan of Jar Jar Binks, and he is driving a Jar Jar Binks paint scheme tonight. So we will have to give him a little crap over that. Everybody should be close to qualifying at this point. We're going to wait for the last few to get in, then we'll go down the starting order. And got to give a shout out to Scott Snodgrass at Scotty Too Hotty Designs. He's doing a lot of the paint jobs for me. My cup car that Jared's running will be replaced soon, as well as my road cars, and a lot of my other vehicles will be repainted by him with the same colors, same logos, same everything, just a little bit more flair to it. Now, as you may have heard, when Jared and I were talking, AJ Godsey has the habit of saying he is struggling at a track and then running away from the field. It's kind of funny to even see him qualifying tonight. A lot of times when he qualifies, or a lot of times he doesn't qualify, runs through the field and runs away with it. So seeing him currently qualified, that's a bit of a shock, and to see where he qualifies is a bit of a shock. But since we got about a minute left, looks like just about everybody, almost everybody's qualified, but we'll start through the running order. It might change just a little bit, but we want to get everybody in before. So on the front row, we'll have Harley Barletta and Jeff Zappa. Second row will be Jason Rumi and Kyle Holden. My apologies to Jason, but got to give him another shout out, because the design that you saw at the intro and the design you'll see in the replays was designed by Jason. So huge shout out to him. I think we'll be getting some of the weekly designs every week from him, so that is quite awesome. So Jason and Kyle are on the second row. David Garman, Jared Heasley are on the third row. JJ Parr is seventh, and AJ Godsey's all the way back in eighth, with Rick Sargent and Kevin Reed ninth and 10th. Then we have Stephen Gibson, Zach Henson, Mark Radford, Richie West, Mark Ackerman, Kellen Mitchner, Scotty Too Hottie Snodgrass, Jeff Hinkle, Mike Smith. Looks like we have some nicknames in the chat. Recky Topher, Nicole Creasel, also known as Nicole, that's what she said, Creasel. RJ Buchanan, Rusty Gallen, Cheryl Newman. She's back after some computer issues a couple weeks ago. Glad to have her back on track. Larry Ashby back there in 25th. Brian Oshenka and Richard Judson round out your field as we are lined up on the front straightaway. And yes, there is the Jar Jar Binks car. And of course, he has Yeet as his window there. It's been a running joke between him and I, and glad to see he leaned into it tonight. So I'll get to make quite a few Jar Jar comments tonight. Of course, Recky Topher is Topher Baltimore in that number 73. He is a security analyst for the government, lives in Purcellville, Virginia. Favorite driver is Slick Bill Byron. All-time favorite drivers, Jeff Gordon, Travis Pastrana, and Boris Said. Anybody that's a Jeff Gordon fan is a good guy. Been on iRacing since 2018, and his hobbies are tinkering, guns, cars, and racing. So he's me. He's like a clone of me, apparently. He's one of the new ones. Haven't got to drive a lot with him, but definitely be talking to him during some practice sessions coming up. As we get the one to green, as they come around, the restarts, excuse me, the start is on the green flag on the first start, and after that, I do believe they're letting the drivers determine who or when they start, so it will be interesting to watch. We do have quite a few new paint schemes out here for this season, so we'll be taking a look at some of those tonight very closely. But right now, we're waiting for that pace car to go off, and they are under green already. Harley gets a good little bit of a jump on the field, but the 56 of Jeff Zappa is already starting to make a move to the outside. Now, this is a 140 lap race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, or 120 laps, excuse me, but they only have 4 total sets of tires, 3 more after this one. So they start on one, they have 3 additional, but they have a 70% fuel load, which will go 44 laps if you're running hard. You can stretch it almost another 10 laps. But after about 15 laps, these tires will start slipping and sliding all over the place, and it will start to get very dicey. And they only have 1 fast repair, so we'll see these guys taking it a bit easy on these 24-degree turns and 5-degree straightaways as Harley Barletta jumps out to an early lead. As they come down the backstretch on the second lap, and look back there at the 32 of Jared Heasley. Started in 6th, already up, looks like in 3rd place. Hopefully he'll take that MS and trigeminal neuralgia car to the front tonight. It'll be something that hasn't been seen in a while. As they come down the back straightaway, everybody's starting to sort out into single file, and hopefully that'll lead to some green flag laps, but Harley Barletta has checked out. He's already got a half-second lead over Kyle Holden. And the number 5 car, AJ Godsey, is charging up already on the 32 of Jared Heasley. He started in 8th. He's already up to 4th. Jared will not be able to hold him off long by the looks of it, and they're starting to get too wide and a little dicey further back. as they come through. There's the number 73 of Topher. Trying to look and see. Looks like they've simmered down just a little bit back there. Mid-pack, they're still getting a little bit dicey, and you can see as we see the 64 Kevin Reed sliding up into the turn just a little bit. It is easy to heat these tires up and start melting them. You've got to take it very easy. And we will see some guys smacking that wall coming out of turn 4 through the quad oval. And we're starting to see some 2 and looked like they were going to try a 3-wide race there, but and fellow Texas native Mark Ackerman there in the 37. We'll be watching that Texas car come to the front, I would imagine. He's had a couple of really good runs here lately as since he's joined the group. He's starting to charge to the front. He's going to be one to watch the whole season. Jar Jar Barletta is still leading the field, but that lead is starting to shrink. Kyle Holden is starting to close up on him in that 18. He's only got a 4/10 of a second lap, or gap from first to second, and here comes AJ Godsey in the 5. Looks like he got around Jared Heasley. Jared slipped back a couple of spots, and the number 5 is starting to charge forward. And remember, after about 15 laps, these guys' tires will really start to disappear. So after this first 8 laps into the race, these guys are doing good. The cars still feel really good, but between laps 10 and 15, when you see how much they've used up the tires, you'll see who has pushed hard and who has saved tires, because we'll see some of these guys going backwards and some of them coming to the front. And as we watch this front pack, Kyle continues to close the gap. He's got it down to about 3/10 of a second now. And he is definitely getting through the corners faster. Last lap, though, Harley Barletta was the fastest by almost 1/10 of a second faster than Kyle or AJ. And it looks like we've got one damaged car up in the wall there. And we are under caution for the first time at lap 10. Normally you'd see everybody going to pit road, but I don't think we will tonight because they have a limited number of tires. Well, let's see if we can find out what happened. Looks like we had the damaged car, the number 12, bounce off the wall and just came down. He was trying to hold it up and stay out of the way, came down and collected quite a few cars. Looks like there's Scott got caught up in it, and several other cars were caught up in it as well. They do have one fast repair though, so we'll see if we should see Scotty Too Hottie back out on track. There he comes after getting his fast repair. He is back on track, fully fixed up. And like I said, Scotty Too Hottie does some great paints. You can go and look and see my custom Texas Longhorn truck was painted by him. It's got some chrome work in it and looks really good. And he's currently painting a rally car to match. And the rest of my cars, like I said earlier, will be similar to what Jared Heasley is running tonight. And there is our leader as we see. Looks like we've got a lucky dog coming around. It looks like the 81 of Jason Room might have been caught up in that as well. As they pace around, looking to see if all right, let's see if we can try and bring AJ in. Hey, AJ, this is Doug in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Doug.
You were charging to the front there. You got something for Harley tonight?
I honestly don't know. As these tires wear on these long runs, that's, I think, where it's going to come down to.
Well, and definitely a big shout out tonight to you for getting this league started. We all appreciate this continued success, man.
Thanks, Doug. See if we can go get them.
All right, man. Good luck to you. All righty. That was AJ Godsey. He was the creator of the BRR League, so we've got him to thank for Jar Jar Binks being at the front of the pack. And they should be coming to get the one to go. It looks like Kyle Holden will stay in second place. AJ is in third. Jeff Zappa started second. He's back in fourth. Jared Heasley in fifth. Then JJ Parr, Richie West, Dave Garman, Mark Ackerman, and RJ Buchanan round out your top 10. And RJ and Mark, they are charging to the front. RJ started 22nd up to 10th. Mark started 15th and is already up to 9th. And Richie West started in 14th up to 7th. So we're seeing some of these guys start to make a move to the front. As they come around, they're lining up too wide. Looks like most of the cars are back on the track. Scott Snodgrass is being shown one lap down. Looks like Brian is about 4 laps down, and Richard Judson is about 7 laps down, but they will get some lucky dogs and get back to the lead lap, and we've seen Scott come from behind before, as well as Brian for that matter. Pace car is off. Harley gets another good jump on this restart, jumps out in front of Kyle Holden in the 18. And AJ is already looking to the inside. Does not get the pass completed. It does take about a half a lap or so to get fully up to speed on this track. And some of these guys will be taking it a bit easy. As you heard AJ mention, saving tires will be the key here tonight. And with 5 laps under caution, that'll extend their tire wear just a little bit, but not a ton. So we hop back and take a look through the field. In 4th place, there's the 56 of Jeff Zappa, and in 5th there you saw Jared Heasley. And in 6th place, you've got JJ Parr and David Garman. And a lot of these guys are driving some new paint schemes tonight, so Richie West in the number 1 is driving a Looney Tunes paint scheme, but next week he'll be driving a G.I. Joe paint scheme. He's doing some really cool stuff with his paint. And there is Mark Ackerman. If I had to root for anybody, it'd have to be the over Jared anyway. It'd have to be that number 37, fellow Texas native, and great guy all the way around. Looks like RJ Buchanan, the 19, is back in 10th. As I said, him and Mark have worked their way up quite a bit. And we don't want to leave the ladies out tonight. There is the number 8 of Cheryl Newman. I'm sorry. She scored as the 8, but driving an 88 paint scheme. And I would imagine we'll see her come to the front before long. She is one that is very patient about it, but she can get to the front when it counts. And the number 6 of Nicole Creasel, definitely always somebody to watch for. She has dramatically improved over the last few months and given everybody a run for their money, especially on those big super speedways where it's a lot of nose-to-tail drafting. She is always there at the front towards the end of the race, so she'll definitely be one to watch for here and throughout the season. I expect for her to have a really good season this time by. There's the number 24 of Zach Henson. Looks like he is driving a Dr. Pepper scheme tonight. Am I reading that? Let's see if we can get a little bit closer view on his car. I stand corrected. That is a Valvoline. Oh, we've got a wreck. Looks like Mark Ackerman and Kevin Reed got together on the backstretch coming out of turn 2. Caution is out. And let's see if we can see what happened. Looked like Kevin was moving to the inside. Oh, Mark got loose as Kevin was coming up the track, and they just met in the middle. Looks like Kevin and Mark will both be using their fast repairs right away. But let's go up here to the front, the 55 of Harley Barletta, and see if anybody pits this time around. Pit road should be opening next time. And it looks like we've got quite a few people on pit road already. AJ Godsey, Jeff Zappa, JJ Parr, Jeff Hinkle, Larry Ashby, Stephen Gibson, Rick Sargent, and Mike Smith are all on pit road, as well as Kevin Reed. And of course, I do believe... And here comes the 22. He is getting back to the lead lap. There is Scott Snodgrass. He is... Looks like he might have got caught a little bit of that accident. Got a little bit of damage on that car, but if anybody can make that work, it is definitely Scott. As he comes back around, we'll see if there comes Larry Ashby out of the pits. There is Larry. He was one of my teammates, along with Mr. Mike Smith. Let's see if we can find Mr. Mike. There is Mike, and he is driving a new Seattle Seahawks paint job that he just painted. I believe he finished that earlier today, and it looks really cool. It looks like Harley Barletta, Kyle Holden both stayed out. Looks like staying out was Harley Barletta, Kyle Holden, Dave Garman, Jared Heasley, Mark Radford, Richie West, Mark Ackerman, RJ Buchanan, Recky Topher, Kellen Mitchner, Rusty Gallen. Let's see who else stayed out. Jason Room had pitted on the previous caution. Cheryl Newman and Nicole Creasel. That puts Cheryl and Nicole up in 13th and 14th. And so now we'll get to see what the ladies can do. As they come around, they should be getting one to go. Looks like the clouds drifted in. That'll cool the track off just a little bit. Might give them a little grip on the early lap, but this track heats up so quickly. And it's so hard on tires, it just melts them. Now these guys up front, the first 14 cars have at least 15 laps each on them. And everybody behind them from 15th on back to 24th are on fresh tires. So we'll see see a huge difference in the speeds this next time by. We'll watch Harley's speed and we'll watch AJ's lap time, and we'll see how big of a difference those fresh tires make even after just 25 laps. Remember, they still have 95 laps to go. And these guys at the front still have 3 more sets of tires. Everybody that changed has 2 more. And those guys in the back that changed tires, they're hoping this thing stays green. They can catch some of these front fellers out. As we come out of turn 4, looks like the sun's back out. And green flag is in the air. And Harley gets another big jump. But now it'll be interesting to see if these guys come charging through the field. These front 3 cars, that's Harley Barletta, Kyle Holden, and David Garman, they've jumped out to a little bit of a lead there. And they've got about, Harley's got a 2-second and increasing lead on 5th place Mark Ackerman. Looks like Mark had limited damage after that incident. Let's see if we can take a closer look at his car. Looks like he didn't get much, so he might be okay and may start charging to the front here. As we watch Harley Barletta come around the track, let's take a quick look at their lap times. Last laps, Steven Gibson was 0.2 of a second faster than Harley Barletta on those fresh tires. But the fastest lap last time by looks like Mark Radford. As we see some of these guys up here at the front, Mark Radford's moved up into 3rd, and he is making a move for 2nd place. As that number 14 car, 18, looks like he's drifting up just a little bit. Not going to fight him. And as they come out of 2, it looks like Mark's going to complete the pass for 2nd and try and run down Harley Barletta. And thanks, Bill. And there is the 14 making the pass for the lead. Mark Radford, he is still on the old tires as well. He pitted about 20 laps ago under that first caution. So he's about 15 laps better than Harley Barletta, and he is starting to make a move for the lead. Will Harley give it up easy, or will he keep fighting back? As they come side by side through 3 and 4, if he gets clear, it looks like the 18 is looking to pounce. We've got a 3-car battle for the lead. And it looks like Harley's going to lose first place, possibly second place. Falls back in. No, he's going to keep fighting on the outside, trying to hang on to that second position. And while these two are battling for second and third place, the number 14 is starting to run away. He's already put 0.3 of a second on the 2 cars behind him. But Harley is not done fighting. He slips back to third, and looks like we've got a couple more guys ready to pounce. That is the number 5 car, AJ Godsey, on the inside. And he is making a move for second. On those fresh tires, he came from way back there, about 15th place after that last pit stop, all the way up now to, looks like second place. Yeah, he is being scored in second place. And he is already starting to look inside for the lead. Coming out 3 and 4, those front 4 or 5 cars can't do a whole lot against those fresh tires, and AJ takes the lead and begins to build a gap on lap 35. And in the third position, is that Mark Ackerman? No, I'm sorry, that is Steven Gibson. Started in 11th. And he is moving up quickly. He is right behind the Steven Gibson moves into second with JJ Parr in third. All these new paint schemes this week for this season are a little bit confusing tonight, but there is Steven Gibson in second in that AOL car, chasing down AJ, and in third is the number 15 of JJ Parr, followed by Zach Henson. Harley Barletta has slipped back to 5th place. And still has the number 18 of Kyle Holden right there with him. I'd bet when they both get fresh tires before long, we will see them back to the front. And caution is out. Lap 37. And I'm willing to bet we are going to see some of these cars on pit road. And it looks like that is Mark Ackerman, and we'll have to see. Mark Ackerman to the outside, and the 19 just get together. Mark goes to the inside wall, collects quite a few cars there, including, looks like Larry Ashby. Looks like the 27, the 11 car. We'll have to see once the carnage settles out. Got quite a few cars there. That's a 73 as well. And we'll see if Mark used his fast repair or not. And there is Harley Barletta and Kyle Holden both on pit road. And now the pit cycles are off for some of these guys that are at the front. AJ Godsey stayed out. JJ Parr, Zach Henson, Jason Room, Jeff Zappa all stayed out there at the front. And AJ will continue to pace the field. Looks like we've got quite a few cars that came in for fresh tires. So it looks like the front, AJ Godsey, JJ Parr, and Zach Henson all were in 17 laps ago. Jason Room was in 29 laps ago. The first car on fresh tires is in 5th place. That is Steven Gibson. He just came in, he's in 6th. Jeff Zappa is in 5th. He's been out there for 18 laps now. And then on fresh tires, you've got Steven Gibson, Harley Barletta, Kyle Holden, David Garman, and Richie West rounding out the top 10. Kellen Mitchner, Jeff Hinkle, Kevin Reed, Mike Smith, Rick Sargent, Mark Radford, Jared Heasley, Cheryl Newman, and Scott Snodgrass are all your top 20. Looks like Scott's showing in 7th. Cheryl might be back on pit road. Looks like Larry Ashby, RJ Buchanan, Nicole Kriesel, Mark Ackerman, Brian Oshanka are all a lap down after that incident a few laps ago. So we've got quite a bit of different pit strategy, and these guys that held out for to this much later, their tires, they all should have the same amount of tires, about 2 tire sets left each. But the guys that held out longer, they're going to have fresh tires on this restart, and their tires will be able to last longer if it goes green flag racing. But we'll have to see with 1 lap to go to green as they stack up too wide. And at about lap 55, we should start seeing some tire wear from those new tires. And those front 5, especially Jason Room, has got some really old tires on. He pitted under that very first caution, so some of these guys, their tires are really going to start to fall off. We didn't see as big of a difference as we expected on that last set of tires, so we'll see what happens going forward. As they come through 3 and 4, we should see the pace car drop off. And AJ will lead them down with JJ Parr to the outside. AJ's going to hold back. Green flag is in the air, and he is taking off and going to bring the 24, Zach Henson, with him. Looks like JJ might have got a little bit of a late start. He has fallen back a couple of positions already. And look, there is the number 55 Jar Jar Binks car already back up into 3rd place, making a move for 2nd as they go down into 3 and 4. And next time around, we will hop in the 5 of AJ Godsey, and we'll take a lap around Atlanta Motor Speedway. You can see the 24-degree bank turns and the 5-degree bank straightaways. Oh, we've got a wreck on the backstretch. They were clear of the track. iRacing may not throw a caution. And we are in the cockpit of AJ's car as he crosses the start-finish line following Harley Barletta. As they drop off into turn 1 and 2, you hear him as the tires wear. They've got to back that corner up, get out of the throttle even earlier, get back on the gas even later as Harley is driving away with it. You can see the difference just 15 laps on the tires can be. And you can hear AJ fluttering the gas as he comes out of 3 and 4. Gets back on it, and that is a lap of Atlanta Motor Speedway in under 30 seconds. And it looks like that 55 is running away with it yet again. He has a 1.5 second lead already in just 5 laps. We've got quite a few cars starting to charge back towards the front. Let's take a quick look back. There is David Garman. He was up, and we are under caution again. Now the question is going to be, will AJ and some of these other guys go ahead and get fresh tires? Let's find out what happened. All right, there is the 22 of Scott Snodgrass. Scotty Too Hotty came through the quad oval, tried not to get into the 15, and tried pit exit a little bit differently. But he managed to save it. Does not look like he got any damage, and managed to stay off of the number 15. That was some great driving to save that, not wreck the other car, and manage to keep himself from losing too many positions. Heck of a save there, Scott. Looked like he was a little bit loose coming off of turn 4, and just he was a little loose coming off turn 4, was saving it all the way down the front straightaway. He is charging to the front as well. Looks like he's still shown in 11th place. Let's see what the scoring shows as they come by, and he doesn't have any damage despite jumping it through the grass. Might have some internal damage, but it does look like these guys that were out front, AJ Godsey, Zach Henson, JJ Parr, Jeff Zappa, Kellen Mitchner, Kevin Reed are all on pit road. Harley Barletta, he's only been out there for about 10 laps. These front guys only been out there for about 10 laps, so they are going to stay out. This is going to get even more exciting as time wears on, as they start running out of sets of tires. They're going to have to be a little bit more careful. Some of these guys are going to be aggressive. Some of them are going to be safe, and definitely going to make for a lot of different strategy calls. And with just over 70 laps to go, this will get interesting. The 55 is still in. We should be getting the one to go. See if the lights go out on the pace car. No, looks like we've got 2 more laps of caution. As they come back around, just taking a look at some of the data we have for here. And as we're watching Harley Barletta lead the field, let's talk about Harley. He is a screen printer in Rochester, New York. His favorite driver is Chase Elliott. Been on iRacing for 2 years. All-time favorite drivers, Dale Sr. and Dale Jr. Favorite sports team are Buffalo Bills. And his hobbies include just about everything. And his one saving grace is he is a guitarist. So I've got to give him shout out for that. He likes skateboarding, and having seen some of his skateboarding videos, I really don't know how he survived this long, but he is a talented skateboarder. He likes music, food, and more food, iRacing, more food, and of course beer. And his downfall, of course, being that he likes Jar Jar Binks. And it looks like David Garman is going to take up the second position. Richie West, Kyle Holden, Jason Room round out the top 5. Stephen Gibson, Jared Heasley, Jeff Hinkle, Rick Sargent, and Cheryl Newman is up to 10th in that number 8 car. Looks like Nicole has slipped back to about 21st right now. I have no doubt if she gets lucky dog, she'll be coming back to the front. As they come out of 3 and 4, we will get the green flag. Will Harley get a good jump this time around like he has the last few? Jason Room is in 5th place, still out there on 40-lap old tires. So we'll see what he can do with that 81 car. This will be an interesting thing to watch as Harley gets a huge jump on David Garman, and the 18 is already diving to the inside. There's the 18 of Kyle Holden already diving to the inside, but surprisingly the 81 looked like he was starting to pick up a few positions, even on those older tires. So his slip back here and take a look. His strategy of running these tires down to the cord might not be too bad, but here comes Jared Heasley to the inside. And looks like Jared is going to move up into 6th. Start charging towards the front, Jared. Fastest lap last time, though, was by, looks like the 18 of Kyle Holden. As Jared's making another move, the 18 of Kyle Holden was faster the last lap than Harley Barletta. But Harley has already got a half-second lead, and it looks like Kyle might be closing that gap just a little bit with a single-file draft team of Kyle. Looks like David Garman and Richie West back there. And looks like Kyle is closing that gap. It's down to just 0.2 of a second. Harley's about to have his hands full. Now keep in mind, they're on the same tire strategy right now. Looks like Jason Room, though, in the 81, he is managing to hold 6th place. He followed, looks like Jared Heasley moved up to 5th. And Jason Room was holding 6th. Looks like he might have slipped back to 7th, but that tire strategy of his might actually pay off. He's been out there for 45 laps. If they get another caution quickly, he'll be kind of ahead of the game. That number 55, though, he's about to have his hands full. And Harley Barletta and Kyle Holden both new this season, so be watching them closely. And it looks like they are coming up behind Scott Snodgrass. Looks like that pass or the drive through the grass might have done some damage to the underside. Didn't look like he had any body damage, but might have damaged his handling just a little bit. He goes high to let these guys go by. I got to say, he went out of his way to not hit somebody. And the drive through the grass is one we will definitely save a clip of because that was impressive. And here comes the 18, Kyle Holden to the inside coming into turn 3. Harley's going to hold him as low as he can, not give him a chance to run any momentum. Folks, this is a fixed setup. Everybody is running the same setup. The only things they can really change is the steering ratio, steering offset, and the brake bias. Other than that, they all got the same thing under the hood, under the suspension. Actually, taking a look at this, Jason Room's been out there for 48 laps, and the most anybody could ever pull off in practice on fuel is 54 laps. Now with caution laps, he could probably extend that quite a bit, as many cautions as they've had since he was on pit road last. But he's got to hope for another caution in the next 10 to 15 laps. As we see the 18 of Kyle Holden running away. He is starting to build a gap on Harley. This is not something you see very often. Harley is one of the toughest competitors out there. But it looks like Kyle is just storming away. He's got a little over 0.4 of a second lead coming down the back straightaway, and it's increasing every turn. Half a second lead at the line. David Garman's 0.8 of a second back. Richie West is a second and a half. Jared Heasley's 2.5 seconds back. The leader earlier, AJ Gotze, is currently in 12th. Cheryl Newman staying out there. She's back there in 14th, currently still hanging on to it. Kevin Reed involved in that earlier incident in 15th. Mark Ackerman and Nicole Kriesel were involved in one of those previous incidents. They are in 18th and 19th. Looks like Larry Ashby might be back on pit road. No, Larry was not on pit road, just a weird scoring glitch. So, as the 18 continues to extend his lead, let's go try and take a look through the field. Of course, we've got the 55 of Harley Barletta, and Scott Snodgrass is not giving up that lap that easily. He is staying right there on Harley's rear bumper, hoping for a chance to get back to the lead lap. Whatever's wrong with that car, he can hang on to it. So if he can get that lap back, he might still be in contention for this one. As we approach halfway, David Garman back there in the 06, currently in third. Richie West in the number 1 is in fourth with Jared Heasley. And the number 32 car is currently running in fifth. Jeff Zappa and Jason Room is on pit road. Looks like 53 laps was the extent of his fuel, and he is going in for more. Jeff Zappa in the 56 is currently in 6th. There is the number 10, Rusty Gallen. That is, he is currently in 7th, followed by Steven Gibson. Rick Sargent rounds out the top 20. And he is in, or I'm sorry, Rick rounds out the top 10 in the number 20 car. 11th place there is AJ Gotze in 11th, followed by Jeff Hinkle in the 23 car, currently running in 12th. And Cheryl Newman up in 13th, starting to make some spots back up. She started in 24th. And she's got her friend RJ right behind her. I imagine those two are working their way together towards the front. Followed by, there's the 64 of Kevin Reed and Zach Henson in the 24. That is everybody. He is currently in 16th. That is everybody on the lead lap. Mark Ackerman, Nicole Kriesel, Larry Ashby are 1 lap down. Jason Room, JJ Parr, and Scott Snodgrass are 2 laps down. Mike Smith is 3. Brian Oshenka is 3. Mark Radford is 3. And Topher is 4 laps down. Looks like Richard Judson is out. Oh, looks like we've got a little bit of a problem up there. Looked like the 73 had some problems coming out of turn 2. Let's see if we can, caution is out. Let's see if we can see what happened. as they come down the back. It's like the 73 is coming through the turn. See if it'll show us what happened. Looks like the 73 is getting a little squirrely coming down the front straightaway. Well, hopefully it will show us what happened going through here. It was showing the 73 had some problems, was down to the inside and spun back out. Looks like the 73 just got loose trying to get back on track and managed to get into the 37 of Mark Ackerman. Several other drivers were collected. And that brought out our caution. We've got quite a few drivers on pit road now, including Harley Barletta. Gave up the lead to gave up second. Kyle Holden also pitted for tires, and quite a few folks stayed out. Some of these guys, by virtue of being behind the pace car, will get waved around and get some laps back. We'll see as they come across the start-finish line who is scored in first. I'm thinking it's going to be Jeff Zappa in the 56, but we will see what the scoring tells us. And it is Jeff Zappa, and looks like Scott Snodgrass and Jason Room should get a lap back when they get the one to go. Just by virtue of being between the pace car and the leader, that should give them the wave around to go all the way around and pick up a lap. That will put each of them one lap down. And if the scoring is correct, that should put Larry Ashby back on the lead lap, but we'll see how it plays out. Looks like Mark Ackerman is currently off track. Currently it is Jeff Zappa, Kellen Mitchner, Kevin Reed, Kyle Holden, and Harley Barletta in the top 5. Only Jeff and Kellen are on old tires. And then from second place all the way back to 16th place, Cheryl Newman, everybody there is on fresh tires. Should be, I believe we'll be getting the 1 to green. Could be wrong. I was once before. Nope. We are getting 1 to green, so we should see, there goes Scott Snodgrass. And Jason Room should be following him around. There we go. That puts Jeff Zapp up at the front. And AJ Gotze is now up in 7th, but he has to fight his way through some of the best drivers in the league. Jeff Zappa, Kellen Mitchner are 1st and 2nd. Kyle Holden, Harley Barletta, David Garman, Jared Heasley, AJ Gotze, Rick Sargent, Rusty Gallen, and Steven Gibson are your top 10. Jeff Hinkle, Richie West, RJ Buchanan, Zach Henson, Kevin Reed, Cheryl Newman, and Nicole Creasel's back on the lead lap, back in 17th. And I told you she was one to watch for, and doesn't matter what happens, she manages to always get her way back up to the front before it's all said and done. And once the pace car drops off, Jeff Zappa will be looking to get a bit of a jump at that 18 car and that 55 car. Kyle Holden and Harley Barletta both have led tonight. They want to get some laps. And 18 pulls right up on the back bumper of Zappa. And they're going almost 3 wide. Looks like there's a little bit of difficulty there. The 18 was going high, slid back low. But they're starting to settle down just a little bit as they come through the turn. But the 18 dives off into turn 3 and takes the lead. They are 3 wide behind them with AJ and Harley side by side. Jeff Zappa is a little bit slower on those older tires. AJ manages to take advantage and use Zappa as a pick, holding Harley up. Harley finally gets by and now starts looking to the inside of AJ. Zappa is just trying to hold on at this point. Once he gets up to speed, gets some heat back in those tires, he might be able to stick with some of these guys, but he's struggling on the restart with those older tires. But right now it is Kyle Holden and David Garman at the front of the pack. And here comes Harley Barletta all the way back up into third. Managed to get around the number 5 of AJ Gotze. He is moving up. And he is closing the gap. There was a half a second difference on the last lap between the leader and Harley Barletta. That is now down to less than 0.2 of a second coming off of turn 2. David Garman starts looking to the inside of the 18 to try and take the lead. Harley, he thinks better of it, and Harley doesn't. He goes to the inside. He is making the pass for second, trying to chase down that 18 car. And we have just 44 laps to go. Most everybody should have one more set of tires, maybe 2. Harley is right there on the back of the 18 of Kyle Holden. As they cross the start-finish line, there is no discernible... Oh, 55 goes to the inside of the 18. He is going for the lead. David Garman is looking to the inside of the 18 as well, trying to make a move for second place. David can't make it stick on the inside, starts looking to the outside. Not often you see a pass to the outside here at Atlanta, but David looked like he was considering it, and AJ is starting to close the gap while these guys are battling for the lead. As they come through 3 and 4, the front 4 are are in less than half a second distance between them. As you see them come through the quad oval, they are all taking slightly different lines. And that 18 of Kyle Holden is not giving up one bit. He is still trying to find a way around the 55 of Harley Barletta. As the number 5 of AJ Gotze is looking to the inside of David Garman for third. Looks like AJ got just enough of a run to get underneath David Garman and takes third spot. Now he's going to try and chase down these 2 guys at the front. But the last lap by, it looks like Harley Barletta was the fastest, but not by much, just hundredths of a second. And as they start to work their way through lap traffic, there is the 37 of Mark Ackerman there. He is currently 5 laps down after being caught in that last incident. Mark has had no luck here tonight, which is sad to see. I'd like to see Mark get one of his Texas cars to the front and win one of these races. Maybe when we get to Texas, he'll be able to pull one off. And it looks like the front two are actually starting to build a gap on AJ. Kyle Holden, Harley Barletta. Harley has a 0.6 of a second lead last time by over the number 5 of AJ Godsey. And over a second on David Garman back there in fourth. If this thing stays green, they will be very close on fuel, but they could go the distance. So we'll see some of these guys stretch their fuel mileage, although these front 5 or 6 cars, they are not trying to save anything. Looks like David Garman might have had some problems coming through 3 and 4. He has drifted up high. Looks like he was a little slow through the quad oval. Not sure what happened. He is running higher. He's on the same tires strategy as everybody else, but looks like he's running higher. Might be trying to save a little tire. Running up high is easier on the tires, but definitely not easier on the fuel. He is definitely running a high line around the track right now. And it looks like Harley and Kyle still continue to keep about a 0.6 of a second lead over the third place car of AJ Godsey. And a huge shout out to the number 10 there, Rusty Gallen. Started in 23rd, currently in 5th in that number 10 car. And he is running, I do believe that is the Days of Thunder Hardy's paint scheme. And Jeff Hinkle right behind him, he started in 18th, running in 6th. Jared Heasley in 7th. Richie West started in 14th, currently running in 8th. And RJ Buchanan back there in 10th position. There's RJ in the number 19 car. He started 22nd. He is already up to 10th. And looks like Cheryl Newman has also made quite a charge. Started 24th, currently in 13th. So we've got quite a few of these cars that are coming on later in the race. There is that 5th place car, that number 10. Looks like he is the biggest mover so far tonight, 18 spots. He is 4 seconds back from the leader. But he has been faster the last 3 laps. He has been faster than 4th place David Garman. In fact, he has been faster than 2nd place Kyle Holden. Harley Barletta has been the fastest, but AJ Godsey's only a little bit faster than Rusty is. So we might, if this thing stays green, we might see that number 10 car up at the front. But right now, Harley Barletta has started to open up a gap on the number 18. He's got a little over half a second lead on Kyle Holden, and Kyle has a little over half a second lead on AJ. And I'm not sure what happened, but last couple laps, Rusty gained almost 2 seconds on David Garman. He is closing that gap quickly. And now that they've been out here for 20 some odd laps and the tires are starting to wear, they're also going to start having to deal with a little bit of lap traffic before too long. Probably in the next 10 laps, and with 30 laps to go, that'll definitely, lap traffic will definitely come into play. Some of these cars further back in the field that have got some damage and aren't 100% up to pace. As they go backwards and these front guys continue to charge and running the fastest laps out there. And the last lap, Rusty Gallen, the number 10, ran the fastest lap by a substantial amount. Over a tenth of a second on Harley Barletta, 2/10 over Kyle, AJ, and David. That 10 car, he is on a mission. Another thing to worry about, as they've been out here running, they're laying down a lot of rubber on the track, and it does make it slicker, especially as these tires heat up and as that portion of the track heats up. Another reason Dave and Garvin could have moved up to get a little bit cooler track that wasn't quite as slippery. But as they start to wear down, they'll start slipping and sliding, as we saw several cars earlier as they come off turn 2. And like what we saw with Scott Snodgrass earlier coming off turn 4, you just spin half the front straightaway trying to catch the car, especially if you were coming as fast as he was. Catching people as quickly as he was, it is difficult when these cars are slip sliding all over the place. Rusty continues to close that gap. He is only a second behind David right now, and only about 2.5 seconds behind Kyle. AJ has moved up into second position just now. But he is still 1.5 seconds back from Harley Barletta, and Harley ran 0.2 of a second faster the last lap. As long as Harley can save enough fuel to make it to the end, I don't think these guys can catch him, but if a caution comes out, it'll be anybody's ball game. And there is the leader, Harley Barletta, 24 laps to go. He's got a 1.5 second lead. And just continues to check out. He ran the fastest lap by over a tenth yet again the last lap. Might want to save some fuel there, bud. Let's see, 24 laps to go. He pitted 28. That's 52 laps to go to the end on fuel. It can be done, they found out in practice. But you really got to be careful, and I don't think Harley's saving a whole lot of fuel right now. I could be wrong. Looks like AJ picked up almost 0.2 of a second. Looks like Harley might have backed out of it just a little bit. That number 10 car is still charging towards the front. He is consistently faster than 4th place David Garman, 3rd place Kyle Holden, and the gap between them is closing. As we come through 3 and 4, we should be about 21 laps to go, looks like. Less than a second from up to the 4th place. But the lap times are starting to even out, and we do have some green flag pit stops. It looks like the 24, Zach Henson, looks like he is on pit road. Scott Snodgrass is on pit road as well. So some of these guys that know they can't make the distance, they're going to take a gamble and hope this stays green, pick up some positions. maybe catch one of these guys running out of fuel towards the end. AJ Gotze has closed the gap on Harley Barletta, though, to just under 1 second. As they start to work through this lap traffic, some of which they're picking up along the way, and some of which they are just getting via pit stops. So we'll see how these two navigate through. And of course, these guys coming out with fresh tires. I do not think anybody this late in a run would try a fuel-only pit stop. Kyle Holden now on pit road. As we start to see more and more cars, looks like Kyle Holden. Oh, the 55 is on pit road. They are sliding into pit road. AJ Gotze was sideways getting on the brakes. First two cars are on pit road. David Garman, Rusty Gallen, Jeff Hinkle, Jared Heasley. They assume the top 4 positions. Richie West stays out. And I promise you, some of these guys can stretch it. I know that the currently 8th place car of Kevin Reed can stretch it. David Garman is diving to pit road. The number 10 is going to move up. Oh, David gets a little squirrely. Jared Heasley gets a lot squirrely coming onto pit road. Let's see if Jared got any damage. Does not look like it. He got it wound up pretty good. But he's going to lose quite a bit of time with that spin. And the number 10 car, we saw him charging toward the front earlier. He has assumed the lead. The 56 car is on fresh tires and trying to get his lap back. That is Jeff Zappa. Now, with 16 laps to go, the 10 car is not pitted. I don't think once he puts everybody a lap down, I don't know how many of these guys, if anybody, could catch him if he stays out, if he can save fuel long enough. It looks a little slow. He is going to pit road. The 10 car is on pit road. Jeff Hinkle in the 23 will assume the lead. And everybody left on the lead lap has been out there for the same length of time, 37, 36 laps. You got to bet one of these guys is going to gamble and try and make it to the end. Jeff Hinkle does not look like he is moving toward pit road at all. As we see the 55 Harley Barletta come by, we'll see what their lap times were. Jeff's last lap time, 32 seconds. Harley's was 29.9. But 14 laps to go at 2 seconds a lap. He could get very close. The question is, can Jeff Hinkle save enough fuel? And has he saved enough tires? Is he laying back to save fuel? He was definitely faster, so we'll see if Jeff can stretch the fuel. He's going to get a lot of drafting help with all these cars coming by on fresh tires, so that'll help him on the fuel mileage and it'll help him on the speed just a little bit. Last lap, it looks like, oh, we got a car in the wall there. Manages to save it, keep it off. He's going down to the inside. There's the one car of Richie West. He is still out there as well after 40 laps. As well as R.J. Buchanan, Stephen Gibson, Kevin Reed, and Cheryl Newman. Now, I know for a fact Kevin can stretch his fuel the furthest. He was the one that showed that it could be done for about 54, 55 laps. He said he could pull off 55 laps in a stretch. If he's very careful, we'll see how careful he's been. And here comes the 22 of Scott Snodgrass. These guys are passing the second place car of Richie West. They are trying to get back on the lead lap, and they're still fighting for position. We'll have to see where these guys are after everything sorts out. Harley Barletta now up to 7th. AJ Godsey is in 8th. They are 22 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Hinkle. And the leader is on pit road, as is Richie West. That'll leave Steven Gibson out. Will he stay out? Yes, he is. The 21 car, AOL car, Steven Gibson, now assumes the lead. 10 laps to go. Harley and AJ are 17, 18 seconds back. So we'll start seeing them come into back of shot before long. But Steven is running faster laps than these other guys on old tires were. He's running about a 31.5. 31.7 looks like. 31.6 last time by. And you can tell by looking at Kevin Reed's times, he is definitely holding back, trying to save some fuel. But Harley Barletta and AJ Godsey are now only 15 seconds back with 9 laps to go. But at Steven's current pace, if he can continue to hold that pace, there will not be enough time. They are only a second a lap faster than Steven Gibson. 8 laps to go. They cannot close that distance. There's the 55 and the 5, AJ Godsey and Harley Barletta. As they start to charge back to the front, they are now 4th and 5th, and up in front of them is the 8 car. Cheryl Newman, oh, she is on pit road now. She had held out as long as she could, and she has a great pit road entry. And it looks like Steven Gibson went to pit road. Kevin Reed assumes the lead with just 7 laps to go. Harley Barletta and AJ Godsey are only 10 seconds behind him. Kevin might be the one to save enough fuel and go the distance. Nope, Kevin is on pit road. That should mean the lead falls to the number 55 of Harley Barletta with AJ Godsey in second. Six laps to go. Harley's got a half a second lead over AJ. Can AJ make up that distance? And they do have to work through all this lap traffic, and these lap cars are also on fresh tires. They're trying to get some positions back. Currently got Harley Barletta, AJ Godsey, Kyle Holden, David Garman, and Zach Henson, I believe, are going to be your top 5 after Kevin gets back out on track. And then Jared Heasley, Richie West, Jeff Hinkle, Rusty Gallen, the number 10 car. We saw him charge to the front. RJ Buchanan look like they will be your top 10. 5 laps to go. Harley still is actually building on his lead. He's up to about 9/10 of a second over AJ Godsey. Kyle Holden in 3rd, David Garman in 4th, Zach Henson takes 5th, Jared Heasley 6th, Richie West, Jeff Hinkle, Rusty Gallen, RJ Buchanan. They move up and they got the whole top 10, and followed by Kellen Mitchner, Steven Gibson, Rick Sargent. It's like Kevin Reed is still trying to get back up to speed after his pit stop. He's currently scored in 14th. Cheryl Newman in 15th. Jeff Zappa, Larry Ashby in 17th. JJ Parr, Brian Oshanka, and Mike Smith round out your top 10. Looks like Nicole Kriesel, Scott Snodgrass are in 11th and 12th. Or I'm sorry, 21st and 22nd. And Jason Room, Mark Radford, Topher, and Mark Ackerman round out the field. Richard Judson, was out of the race earlier. 3 laps to go. Harley has a 1.2 second lead over second place AJ Godsey. I don't see AJ closing the gap. 2 to go. And looks like everybody has pitted or has enough fuel since the last pit stop to go the distance at this point. So nobody actually tried to stay out and stretch it. That comes as kind of a surprise. There's second place AJ Godsey. He's got quite a lead, but the real battle is going on back in 5th, 6th, and 7th. You got Zach Henson, Richie West, and Jeff Hinkle all back there. Kevin Reed is a lap down to these guys. And looks like Richie's going to pick up a position as we get the one to go. And that was a checkered flag, folks. And it looks like Harley Barletta is going to win, followed by AJ Godsey, Kyle Holden, David Garman, Zach Henson are your top 5. Richie West, Jeff Hinkle, Jared Heasley, Rusty Gallen, Stephen Gibson ran out the top 10. RJ Buchanan, Kellen Mitchner, Rick Sargent, Cheryl Newman, Jeff Zappa, Kevin Reed, JJ Parr, Larry Ashby back in 18th, Mike Smith in 19th, Brian Oshanka rounds out the 20. Nicole Kriesel is in 21st, followed by Scott Snodgrass in 22nd, and Harley is about to do some burnouts. And I guess we'll have to talk to Harley. So be ready for some Jar Jar jokes. Harley, this is Doug in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Doug. What's up?
Congratulations, sir.
Man, I appreciate it.
There's something wrong with your car. There's something stuck to the hood, man.
Yeah, it's a Jar Jar Binks, bro.
Well, I'm glad you hit him at some point. You didn't even think about trying to stretch the fuel there at the end?
No, it wasn't worth it. I needed tires. I was like, I'm going to pit for tires. It's last round.
I noticed a few guys looked like they were going to. Was anybody actually, I think the last one to pit was Kevin Reed. Was anybody actually saying that they could go the distance?
I didn't hear anything. I mean, I also wasn't on the Discord either, so.
Ah, gotcha. Well, that is definitely the way to start the season out. Congratulations.
Very much. I had a blast. These guys are awesome, man.
Well, you definitely did awesome tonight, and congratulations on beating AJ. That is no easy task.
Thought he had me there for a little bit. He was following me real close, and I was like, what am I going to do?
I'm definitely impressed with your donuts, sir.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Well, you got anybody you want to thank after this monumental start to the season?
Well, first off, I want to thank AJ and the rest of the admins in here. This is awesome. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it very much. It's a very, very fun group of people. I really enjoy each and every one of you. Second off, I want to thank you, Doug, for broadcasting this because this is awesome. Last year I was all like, oh, why is this not broadcast? And all of a sudden we're broadcast. Woohoo!
Well, it is sad that I have to broadcast a Jar Jar car, but yeah, I'm happy to do it.
It's not sad for me.
I'm sure. I am sure it is not. And I'm sure this is going to be an ongoing thing the whole season.
I wouldn't wreck your day that much.
All right, man. Well, congratulations. Great win. Great start to the season.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. All right. And thank you all for tuning in tonight. This has been the BRR League at Atlanta, the first race of the season. We will be back next week for more racing. We'll have the schedule put up. I went completely blank just now when I was thinking of what next week's race is. But we will be back next week for more BRR racing, and there will be more racing broadcast here throughout the week this week. So Outcast Dirt League, I believe, is tomorrow night. So look forward to broadcasting some more, and look forward to everybody tuning in to watch. And thanks for tuning in to watch tonight, and have a great evening.